Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a seriously fascinating document today. You know that concept of mesmerism? Usually we think of stage hypnosis or early Western psychology, right? Well, this text completely reimagines the whole thing through the lens of ancient Indian science. We're talking about a text that claims this isn't just some parlor trick, but literally the ultimate science of human potential. Let's get right into it. Now, right out of the gate, the author hit skeptics with this incredible quote. By asking what cannot happen with it, the text completely shifts our expectations. We're going from, basic physical healing to the absolute heights of spiritual and physical power. It's just this massive statement of boundless possibility. Section 1. The true meaning of mesmerism, beyond the Western concept. So, according to our source, the term mesmerism is actually kind of incomplete. The true ancient name is Atma Shakti Vikas Vidya, which basically translates to willpower development science. The author makes this bold claim that Dr. Franz Mesmer really only scratched the surface. He captured a tiny fraction of this science and boxed it into his own system. But meanwhile, ancient Indian rishis and munis, the sages, they've been practicing this exact science of willpower for literally millions of years. So it's definitely not a new discovery. It's an ancient mastery of human will. Section 2. Perspectives on willpower, a universal power. What's really cool here is that the text doesn't just box this into spirituality. It connects multiple fields into one unified theory of willpower. Psychologists, they see it as the fuel for courage and motivation. Doctors view it as the absolute foundation of healing, stating that a strong desire to get better actually accelerates recovery, while weak willpower just prolongs the illness. Then you have yogis who see it as the root of all supernatural powers and ultimate enlightenment. And get this, it even brings in physicists, claiming they view willpower as this magnetic force drawing divine atoms straight for nature. It's just a beautifully holistic view of what humans can do. To really drive this idea home, the text pulls in this famous quote from Jesus Christ, alongside its references to Dr. Mesmer and Indian sages. The author uses this to emphasize that the limitless potential of willpower, the idea that your intention and your action can literally unlock the doors of the universe, is a universally recognized truth, across different cultures, religions, eras, you name it. Section 3. Healing mind and body. The everyday benefits. So what about the everyday application? For anyone dealing with modern stress, the source claims that cultivating your Atma Shakti is basically the ultimate cure. It says that dedicated practice for just 3 to 6 months can heal a whole spectrum of mental distress. We're talking insomnia, dull intellect, headaches, and even severe things like madness and delusions. Just a few months of practice, the author states, gives you a clear brain and this laser-like ability to focus deeply. The author uses this incredibly powerful metaphor to explain this. They describe the anxious mind as a bird trapped in a net woven by worry, fear, anger, and grief. You know how people constantly flutter and struggle, often blaming bad luck or planetary alignments or even curses for their suffering? Well, the text argues that those are just mental traps, and the focused sword of willpower is literally the only thing that can cut through that net and set the bird free. I actually really love how grounded this next part is, because the text maintains a surprising level of objectivity here. It says that while willpower can totally rejuvenate your flesh and blood and bring new life to your veins, it can't magically alter your core bone structure. For example, if you've got crooked teeth that hurt, your willpower can absolutely eliminate that pain, for sure. But your teeth, they're still going to be crooked. It's a very practical, realistic boundary. So we've seen the everyday health benefits, right? But let's take a look at what happens when this builds. Because here is where the text makes a massive leap from practical health to some truly mind-bending mystical claims. What exactly happens when your willpower becomes so strong that it literally outgrows your physical shell? Section 4. Awakening the subtle body, the mystical leap. Okay, so we are now entering the realm of the Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body, or basically the invisible, energetic twin of our physical form. According to the yogic traditions in the source, intensely cultivated willpower nourishes and awakens the subtle body. And once it's awake, it grants extraordinary, almost superhuman abilities. It says a practitioner can literally look inside their own body to see their digestion and blood flow. They could project their subtle body to distant places, to instantly witness events, read the thoughts of people around them, and uncover deeply hidden secrets. Wild, right? To help wrap our heads around this, the author drops a really brilliant modern analogy. Just like an X-ray can penetrate a solid wooden box to show the jewels hidden inside, The empowered subtle body becomes entirely transparent and penetrating. It can pierce right through physical barriers and social masks to directly see the true thoughts and secrets hidden inside another person's mind. Which brings us to one of the most fascinating concepts in the whole text, the Chaya Purush, or the Shadow Man. In ancient lore, you hear these tales of advanced yogis or legendary kings having spirit companions. The text specifically calls out King Vikramaditya, who supposedly had this legendary spirit companion called a Veer. But the author clarifies that this wasn't a ghost or an outside spirit at all. It was actually just the practitioner utilizing their own highly developed shadow man. Basically, a projection of their own subtle body to carry out tasks like a divine servant. Building right on that, the author boldly strips away the superstitions surrounding a lot of ancient Indian scriptures. Many of those old texts talk about summoning external entities like a yakshini or a batal to grant favors. But the text claims the scientific reality is that these are entirely the internal power of the practitioner's own subtle body. So why disguise it as a deity? Well, the author says it's because human beings naturally feel inferior. We kind of prefer the comfort of begging an outside deity rather than putting in the hard work of realizing and cultivating our own internal power. Section 5. The ultimate spiritual goal, God realization. So we've gone from basic healing all the way to mind reading and projecting a shadow self. But the ultimate thesis of the text is that developing your willpower isn't just about fixing a headache or doing cool mystical stuff. It's actually the fundamental engine required to climb the steps of Patanjali's Raja Yoga. Willpower is what drives you through dharana, which is intense concentration, into jhana, deep meditation, and finally to samadhi, the ultimate state of God realization and self-actualization. Without it, you literally can't even take the first step. So that brings us to our final thought. This source offers such a fascinating look at an ancient science, seamlessly blending everyday physical healing with the absolute highest peaks of mysticism. It reframes the struggles of everyday life as basically just illusions that a sharp, focused mind can easily cut right through. And it leaves us with a pretty massive question. Just how much untapped power, how much Atma Shakti is sitting dormant inside our own minds right now, just waiting for us to finally knock on the door? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning and keep exploring.